Today we are discussing Certificate of Occupancy as proof of ownership. You are welcome. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Real Estate with Bimpe. My name is Bimpe. I'm the property consultant who is here with you every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. and Saturday evening at 7 p.m. discussing real estate with you, entertaining you, informing you, and educating you so that you avoid common errors that recur in real estate transactions, so that your investment in real estate remain secure. In my last video, I was talking about common features, common elements between marriage and real estate. And one of the points I mentioned was that real estate has certificates at the beginning of the relationship, just like marriage has certificates at the beginning of the relationship. Today, I'm starting a series on some of those documents that you will find in real estate transactions. Let me start by saying that I see some people will say 6 documents you will find, 7 documents you will find. It's an inexhaustive list, and I will tell you why. I can assume that I've covered all the documents, but because it's an evolving industry involving people, involving government and all of that, something could come up tomorrow. I always leave that leeway of saying something could come up tomorrow that is not covered, but I will do my best to cover all the fundamental ones, especially those you will find in transactions in Nigeria. I'm going to be talking about each document of title in real estate. The first document I'm going to be talking about is a Certificate of Occupancy, otherwise called a C of O. So what is a C of O? A C of O is a certificate issued by the government to a property owner. A C of O means Certificate of Occupancy. That implies that that certificate is just certificate to occupy. It is not certificate of ownership, because all land in every state belongs to the governor. It is called radical title. The governor has radical title of all the land in any state. So he will give you a certificate to occupy the land for 99 years. That certificate is not absolute. It means that there's a reversionary interest after the 99 years. Now, the Land Use Act, right, that enacted that law was made in 1976. So it's less than 99 years. So even the law has not seen 99 years for us to know what is going to happen on the other side of the 99 years. So I will not discuss what's going to happen there because I don't know. I will only say when we get to that bridge, we will cross it, because as far as I'm concerned, your family will have profited astronomically from the real estate you are buying today. So whoever is alive at that 99 years, let them be dealing with it. The one you are buying today, whoever is alive in 99 years time, they should be coping with whatever the government has to say then. That is me. But suffice to say that the certificate gives you 99-year ownership. The certificate is issued. So here's the thing: you are not buying that land from the government. That certificate is not a certificate that you bought from the government. That certificate is you going to tell the government you have bought from those who had deemed right, who are what we call omonile or family owners, or omonile had sold to some people. It's not only omonile. Sometimes omonile sells to people who also don't register title, but you now want to register your own title, perhaps to increase the value of your land. You now go and register a certificate of occupancy. That certificate of occupancy puts the government on notice that, okay, you have paid them for the governor to approve of your owning that place. That certificate of occupancy also presumes that the location you bought is not within a government acquisition of any kind, because you will not be able to get the C of O out if it is within government acquisition. Now, as to the validity of C of O, C of O is a valid legal document. However, so I had this client who was issued a certificate of occupancy by the governor of a state. And shortly after, they began to have disturbances from landowners popularly called Omonile. And Omonile was claiming government did not compensate them when government took over the property. There are dynamics to acquisition that I cannot address in this video. However, there are times when government has to compensate when they acquire even vacant land. And so this client had a certificate of occupancy, but the client did not have access to that land for well over 6 years. And I told them, the way this transaction has been done, you are the ones that are going to pay that compensation. And they had to pay the 25 million, despite the fact that they had a certificate of occupancy. So, as touching validity of certificate of occupancy, the client of mine that I told you about, they had to pay because the validity of their certificate of occupancy was in question. I mean, the family took them to court. Don't you think that the family that knew they had a certificate of occupancy and still took them to court knew something? Oh yes, they knew something. There is a very popular old case that lawyers know, is the case of Idudun and Okumagba. I just said I should mention that to you. The long and short of that case is that certificate of occupancy is not complete proof of title. If somebody can prove traditional ownership that is stronger than your certificate of occupancy, the certificate of occupancy in your hand, valid as it is, will be revoked by the court, and that property will be returned to that owner. So please don't get involved with property that was fraudulently acquired and run off to go and do certificate of occupancy so that you can right that wrong of fraudulent acquisition. It's not possible. We say you cannot build something on nothing and expect it to stand. There's no basis for that C of O. It will be revoked by the time the right facts are put forth before a court of competent jurisdiction. So while a certificate of occupancy is a valid document, please do not think that that is the be all and the end all. As a matter of fact, there are so many other valid documents. I just chose to take this first so I can demystify the mind of every buyer. When we say, okay, there's property here, they say, does it have C of O? And we say no, and they think it doesn't have valid title. There are some money that are buying from them and just holding is more secure than any other thing you might want to do. I have met a few like that. Yes, I have. That is not to say you shouldn't get a certificate of occupancy, because a total stranger from anywhere can come and contest title with you, and you may have to go to court. By the time you go to court, the court is going to place weight on the certificate, on the person who has government issued title over the person who doesn't. You have title, you are both claiming title. You are both claiming documents of title. But one person has a registered document, the other person doesn't have a registered document. It is the person with a registered document that the court is going to give priority. Even there are some other rules aside from going to court that will give the person with a legal interest, right, priority over somebody who doesn't have a legal interest. There are some other rules. Let me not bore you with those rules. So to get a certificate of occupancy is not a shortfall in any way. As a matter of fact, it adds value to that property. So if you bought the property at 5 million and you spend the next 2 years and 3 million procuring a certificate of occupancy, by the end of that 3 years or 3.5 years, when you're ready to sell, you can conveniently sell at 15 million or between 12 and 15 million because of the value that that certificate of occupancy, if properly done, all other facts being equal, because of the value that certificate of occupancy will have added to that property. A certificate of occupancy is a document recognizing the ownership that a family has transferred to a buyer. A certificate of occupancy does not transfer the title to you. The title was in somebody. You took the title. You now took that document of title, went to tell the government, okay, oh, this person has transferred to me, recognize me. They had deemed right of occupancy, which is recognized by the Land Use Act. I don't have deemed. I want to register a statutory right of occupancy. So register this document for me. That is what a certificate of occupancy is. This is episode 1 in this series. We're going to do as many episodes as are required to cover the different types of documents you can find in land and property and real estate transactions. Today's one was what is a C of O, what is a certificate of occupancy. I hope it makes sense to you. I hope you got some value from it. You may have to listen to the video over and over to fully digest, but in case you still have questions, no problem. Please drop your questions in the comment section. I attend to the questions myself. If you have a particular document you want me to address, drop it in the comment section. I'll probably address it in the next 2 or 3 videos. And if you got any value from this video, please help me by hitting the like button. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when the next video goes live, so you don't come to YouTube and start scrolling and looking. The notification will go live on your screen when the next video goes live, and it will be in your notification bar. Once you hit notification bar, you will see it there as something you have subscribed for and has a new video up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. I still hold that real estate transactions is one of the most juicy investments in all of the world, and especially in Nigeria. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.